Next type of factoring is very similar to the x squared trinomial, except this time there's a number in front, which it changes the way we have to factor it. We can't factor it the same way that we did with the x squared, where we find the sum of the middle number, the product of the n number, and we know those are the numbers that go in the binomial. So let's talk about how to do that. But first, let's go from multiplication to the final answer. Okay? Because remember, factoring goes from the final answer back to what we multiplied. So we're doing multiplication now to get an answer, but then we're going to take an answer and go back to what multiplies to get the answer. How many multiplications here?
4.
Somebody want to tell me? Somebody want to walk through this or walk me through this?
12d squared. And 60 plus 60 plus 18. Wait, no. What's 4 times 4? 8. Oh, no. 4 times 1. 16 plus 8.
And that simplifies to?
12d squared plus 7. Oh, wait, no. Oh, that's it. Oh, oh wait, no. Oh, I forgot that was 8. Yeah, the 16 was 8. Because it says 16b, but it looks like 1. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Notice something when we multiply binomials. When we multiply the first two, or the first term in each binomial, it's always the first term of the answer, which is a trinomial. When we multiply the last two, it's always the last term in the answer of the trinomial. Okay? Like, so for example, let's look at the next one. What would the first term, let's see if we can get right to the final answer. What would the first term in the answer be? The product of the first terms in the binomial. So 6k squared. What would the last term be? Negative 40. Okay? To find the middle term, you multiply the outside 2 and the inside 2 and put them together. So what's 5 times 2k? 10k. What's negative 8 times 3k? So we've got negative 24k and a plus 10k. Negative 24 plus 10. Negative 14k. Okay? Now you don't have to do it that way. The only reason that I'm showing you that, okay? Oops, that's not what I want. Is because this is what we're going to pay attention to when we factor. Okay? So notice, again, these two, when we multiply those, gives us the first term of the answer. These two, when we multiply those two, it gives us the last term of the answer. The two green ones, the outside, looks kind of like a rainbow. When we multiply those two and put them together, we get the middle. Factoring is all about working backwards. So if I start here, I can use all this information to help me figure out what the factors are. So let's take an example. Notice this factoring one is a little different. It's a trinomial, but there's a number in front. So we call it an ax squared trinomial when there's a number in front. It will always break down into the multiplication of two binomials. But we can't say the first two terms of each are x and x. Why? Because they have to multiply to 2x squared. What two terms multiply to get 2x squared? You didn't quite say it. 2 times 1 is 2. I'm looking for what times what is 2x squared. 2x and 1x. Or just 2x and x. I know that that works. Okay? So we get those from here. These two must multiply to get 3, don't they, on the end? Give me two numbers that multiply to get 3. 3 and 1? Both plus?
Yeah.
Yes, both plus. So right now, if I were to multiply this out, this would work and this would work. But I don't know if the middle works. How do I check to see if the middle works? That's when I do what I call a rainbow. So I'm going to multiply those two on the outside and inside. I need a little bit bigger. Now I need a little bit thicker than that. There we go. There's a nice little rainbow. Okay. What's 2x times 1? What's 2x times 1? 2x. What's 3 times x? When I combine those, what do I get? 5x, which is the middle. So I factored it correctly. Okay. Here's what, but sometimes, like a lot of times you'll get it on the first try. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll have to switch things around. And we'll see that. Okay. But that's how we factor. Get the first terms of each, get the last terms, check with the rainbow for the middle term. This is going to take some practice. We've just done one. So remain calm, but pay attention still. God. Why do you have such trouble paying attention? Like, look, I could hold this up and there's no way you could focus on the lesson because you would be focusing on this ball. Now you see, you looked at it. See, so I could be writing away. But if I go like this, see, you look, yeah, see, you look at it, you can't stop. There's a squirrel on that roof over there. Look at him go. Wow, look at him go. That's the biggest squirrel I've ever seen. Everybody's looked at it, hasn't? Like, look at how enormous that thing is. That thing is huge. Okay? It's got a tail like a beaver. It's chewing on the window. It's trying to break in. It's chewing on the window frame. See, I'm going to give up, and I'm going to go back to writing, and you're going to take a quick glance. I know it. Okay. So this one, next one. Automatic. 2x and 2x. Is there another possibility? Yes. If there's more than one possibility, always choose the pair of numbers that are closer to each other, because chances are that's going to be the right one. So like if I said, say you got 6x squared, well, there's two possibilities. You could do 6x times 1x or 3x times 2x. Pick the two closer together, 3x, 2x. Okay, give me two numbers that multiply to get -3. -3 and +1. Okay, so I know that this works. I know that this works. But here's where I have to rainbow it to see if the middle works. And yes, I'm going back to it. Yoink and yoink. What do I get if I multiply the outside? 2x. What do I get when the inside? When I put those together, I get what? -4x. I need +4x. What do you think I could do? Flip the 1 and 3? I've got the right number. I just have the wrong sign. Flip those. Flip the signs. So if we did this, we did 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 1. And if we did the rainbow to it, I get -2x plus 6x, which is plus 4x, works. Okay, this one doesn't work. You guys will get to the point where you'll start being able to figure out how to choose these numbers so that the middle will work. Okay, but this is how essentially it works. All right, all I want to do is practice with a few more. Let's do C together, and then I want you to try D on your own. So, two binomials, first terms. What must the first term of each be? It has to multiply to get 5x squared. Yes, I always prefer the bigger number here and then the smaller one here. You could do x and 5x, but I just do 5x and x. Okay, so we know that works. Two numbers that multiply to get -3. +3, -1. Okay. I know that works. Does the middle term work? I get -5x, and I get +3x. That's not going to give me 14x, is it? Okay. It gives me a completely different number. So what should I do with these? This gives me a completely different number, not just the sign, a completely different number. Shouldn't I switch these two? Okay. Like switch the numbers. So 5x plus 1, x minus 3. Okay, so this one doesn't work. This time I get my, whoa, hello. That's a little aggressive. No, that's mildly assertive. That's a little better. That gives me -15x. That gives me +1x. What does that give me? Oh, but I need positive 14. Switch the sides, baby. So 5x minus 1, x plus 3. Again, this one took us a while, but you guys will reach the point where you'll be able to pick the correct answer by figuring it out as you go. Actually, let me do one here. Let me do one more. I want you to just, would you all agree that it's going to be 2n and n? Because they have to multiply to get that. Would you all agree that the numbers are going to be 11 and 1 or 1 and 11? Because that's only one pair of numbers that gets me 11. Okay, I look at the original. I would think, oh, I'll choose plus 11 and plus 1. But look at this. Not only do two positives multiply to get a positive, so do two negatives. So I'm going to choose two negatives. It's going to have to be two negatives. So now it's 11 and 1 or 1 and 11. Well, if I chose 11 here, I'd get negative 11n in the middle and negative 2n on the outside. There's no way that's making negative 23. There's no way. This has to be 1, which means this has to be 11. And just double check. Away. Go away.
On top where you pressed it in the beginning.
Thanks, Mom. So I get negative 2n. Sorry, I found that funny. And negative n. So it works. I don't know why I'm laughing. Silly. Okay. Try the next one. See if you can do it. It's okay to stretch. Well, you were kind of stretching there, and then you went like this when I looked at you. It's okay to stretch. These things happen. Okay? But see, that's not okay. I'm just setting this up. That's all.
Oh. Oh no. What were you doing? Oh, I was doing skiing. Oh my god. We just did. I know. Yeah, that. You're supposed to. Oh my gosh.
Did I?
Numbers they can do better.
Oh my God, I completely missed two.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, I know this was purpose.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so that's okay. We got some more to practice. I know. We'll be. I know.
Oh.
Christmas.
No. What are you doing?
Remember what I said? Pick the ones that are closest to each other. 2h and 2h are closer to each other than 4h and h. What about the number? You should be able to tell me something about the signs by looking at the original. What do you notice about the signs in the original? They're all positive, so these must be positive. So now it's going to be what two numbers multiply to get 9? Well, it's 3 and 3, or 1 and 1, 1 and 9. So if we try 3 and 3, we're going to find that we get 6h, 6h, which gives us 12h. So that's our answer. Okay? Yes. Before we continue, though, I would probably give you a communication error because you haven't finished this question yet.
I did it.
No, you haven't finished it. You haven't completely simplified it.
I'm gonna go to 8, 3, and then the power. How do you say that?
Yeah, or squared. If they're the same, you can just square them. There you go. Okay, next one. What do the first two terms have to be?
1K.
How am I going to write them?
3, 1K.
Okay. Last, yes. The numbers. They have to multiply to get -10. Well, that means one has to be positive and one has to be negative. 10 and 1 multiply to get 10. So do 5 and 2. So I'm going to try 5 and 2 because I want to try the ones closer to each other. Question is, how do I want to put them?
Negative.
If I put the 5 here and the 2 here, I'm going to get 6 and 5. That's not going to get me anywhere near that, is it? So chances are 2 is going to go here, 5 is going to go here. Question is, where do the signs go? Okay, let's try that. -2, +5. So I've chosen, so I know those work. I've got to rainbow this baby. So I get positive 15K, negative 2K. Does that make negative 13K? It does not. It makes positive 13K. That means I've got the signs incorrect. So all I have to do is replace or switch the signs. Be careful. Make sure you're getting the right sign. Okay, let's jump back to A and B. I want you to do both of those. Try both of those, and then we'll go over those together. Okay.
Okay, maybe it's kind of if I told him whatever. I'm confused.
First two terms have to be? Nope. 2x times x.
Yes.
Signs have to be? Everything's positive. So now it's either going to be 5 and 1 or 1 and 5.
5 and 1.
5 and 1. So we know the first two multiply to get that. We know the last two multiply to get that. We rainbow the outside and the inside. We get 2x, 5x, which is indeed 7x. Got it right. Okay? B. First two terms have to be 7b and b. I actually know what the numbers have to be. Yeah, they have to be ones. And then one is plus and one is minus. The question is, which one? Okay, let's try plus minus. We know this works. We know this works. Minus 7b. Positive b is minus 6b. All good. Okay. Good. Looks like you guys are getting the hang of this. This is good. So for for Tuesday, exercise 2.3, please. Next week, we're going to do 2.4 and 2.5, which means the following week will be your next test, likely towards the end of the week. So it will either be, why? So next week,
Friday, 3 days for that, please.
so it's going to be Thursday the 16th or Friday the 17th. Why?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Okay.